Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. So we're going to be doing another vlog where we play my old game. Maybe TBR Snail Trail, and the other one can be TBR Snail Trail 2.0. I don't know. But it is Friday night at 7, almost. And I thought we could start this. I am hopefully going to be organizing my bookshelves. So hopefully we can find an audiobook for this. Otherwise, I'm going to reorganize my bookshelves, then start the book, and we'll be behind. Maybe. I don't know. So here we are. I'm going to set this up right here. We're going to be this little dog. And when I used to play, the first turn was only with 1 die, and every other turn is going to be with 2. Alright, so here we are, and roll number 1 is a 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, the first space we landed on is movie or TV adaptation, and that is actually perfect because I have The Shawshank Redemption on audiobook from my library. The book is only 4 hours long. What? For some reason I thought that it was going to be like a huge Stephen King novel. But it's only 4 hours. I usually listen to my books about 1.7 to 2.2 speed, depending on the narration. But I have a lot of work to do in here. Okay, so I'm going to reorganize all my books. It's probably just going to be in this vlog because that's what I'm feeling right now. But right now, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. These are books that I've read and that I love. And not that long ago, like last month, I redid all those shelves. And these ones were alphabetized by author's last name. And, that's not terrible. It works for some people. However, I've realized that it doesn't matter however many times I redo my shelves. The way that works best for my brain and me is to go by genre, and then in that genre, go by author's last name, and then by title. So if I have like 5 Stephen King books, then they're going to be alphabetized by title. Hopefully that makes sense. It makes sense to my brain and I love it. So I'm probably going to be just redoing all of my shelves. But let me get that audiobook started, and if we come back, then I'm probably just going to fast forward mode it. You're welcome. I finally decided how I'm going to do it. So I'm going to go through each shelf, and I'm going to dedicate each shelf to a different genre, kind of like I was saying. But like, say that we go through this one. So this first one right here, No Exit, is a thriller. So I'm going to say that's going to be nonfiction. This will be thriller. This will be romance. And these 2 will be thriller. These 2 will be romance. And then this will be other, because I don't read enough of the rest of the books to consider them favorites. And we'll see how well that works out, but I'm going to just categorize them. I'll probably do the first row with you, like at fast forward mode, and then we will come back and talk my way through my process through the next step. So fast forward, Alita. Okay, so I'm like 25% of the way through the audiobook of Shawshank Redemption. And this is so sad. I wasn't expecting that. So far we're just learning kind of about the prison and prison life and what it's like, and it just something happened and it's gut-wrenching. And I just realized that this part of a series, so I think I'm gonna finish this book tonight and take our next turn. But like, it's really uncomfortable to listen to. I just don't know. I wasn't expecting to actually like this book. And it's not that I'm liking it, but I'm not really disliking it either. I'm kind of just going for the ride, but it's so It's so sad. Like, I know we don't really talk about prisoners and, like, their life because, like, human life should be valued, but then they're like, it's like, well, if they're criminals, then they should just be put away and just forgotten about. But, like, how far of an extreme do we want to go to on that? Is it an eye for an eye? If you kill someone, then you deserve to rot in prison? Or is it like you rob someone, you deserve to rot in prison? Or like, where do our lines go? Oh man, this book is making me think a lot about like our justice system and prison life. This is crazy. It's so crazy. Good morning. I am getting ready to film, but last night I finished Shawshank Redemption by Stephen King. I need to sit on this one for a little while before I tell you my ratings. So how I'm feeling right now about it is that I didn't know it was part of a series or like a novella in the different seasons series. And it felt more like a character study at times of people in prison. But it also got me thinking a lot about prison life and like how we treat convicts and different things like that. And like I'm pretty sure I said it earlier, like when I was about 20% into this book, about how some people think that we are too harsh on our criminals, and some people think that we are not harsh enough. And like, I know what I used to think, but I feel like I've grown a lot as a human, and I'm not quite sure my feelings right now. And that book it wasn't bad. It was actually kind of good, but there were just like so many things that I don't know. I don't want to say it's that I didn't connect to it. It's just I didn't like quite understand. I don't know. I just don't know how I feel about this book. So I'm going to sit on it for a little bit, and we're going to take our second turn, and I'm going to try to pick a book for that, but I'm also getting ready to film, so I might do a little bit of filming this morning. It's like bright and early, and I'm open eyes. I have open eyes and bushy tails. No, that's not how that saying goes. Anyways, let's take our next turn. Alright, so we are right here on the movie. There we go. On the movie adaptation. Now we have 2 die. Okay, so that is a 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It has been a very long time since I've even thought about my pile of shame. But a year ago when I made this game, a year ago when I started playing this game, I had this pile of books called my pile of shame. It was basically any book that I started reading and it wasn't that I was saying, oh no, I can't read this, it's a DNF. Which, if you're new to the booktube community, DNF means it's a did not finish. Like, I have no interest in finishing this book, but it's not really I'm gonna grab this and finish it right away. So it kind of just sits there in limbo for a very long time. Like, ooh, are you gonna read it or are you not gonna read it? And I haven't really thought about that pile for a while. So some might say I'm cheating. I'm just bending the rules a little. My game, my rules, my channel, whatever. So for my pile of shame, I'm going to try to read The Push by Ashley Audrain again. So I've read the first 100 pages of this book, and at the time, this was everyone was saying that this was such a really good, powerful thriller, and I love thrillers. But when I was reading it, it's more of a slow burn, like literary fiction with creepy things happening. And I have this compulsion. I have this drive. I have this need. I have this want to someday be a mom. And this book, I think, is about this mother-daughter, and the daughter is evil or possessed or something like that. And I don't really think that I gave this book a good enough shot because I just was not in the right headspace for it, for one. And for two, I was expecting like an action-packed thriller. And like I said, this is not an action-packed thriller. It's like a very slow burn type of literary fiction that has creepy things. So I think The Push is going to be my next book. I just hit myself in the face with my book. I finished The Push by Ashley Audrain. What did I just read? We're going to go to my library, take another turn, and I'll give you my full thoughts. But I don't even know what my thoughts are. I finished The Push by Ashley Audrain, and I'm pretty sure that I said this before, but I owned this book in 2021 when it first came out. It was one of my book of the month choices, and I think I read 100 pages, probably a little less than 100 pages, and like nothing happens in this book. It's actually quite boring. Like, it's very mundane. But it was so beautiful. So, essentially, you follow this woman named Blith, who is having problems connecting to her daughter. You know, she thinks that her daughter is evil. And you go through day-to-day life as mom, you know, as her mom, and you kind of get flashbacks of Blithel as a child, and you see what made her into the mom that she is. And then you see a lot of things that happen because to Blythe, her name is Blythe, to Blythe, Violet, her daughter is evil, she's out to get her, but to the husband, Fox, is his name Fox? Yeah, Fox. He says that it's all in her head and that there's nothing really going on, and that Violet is an amazing child. She's just a child, though. And so you kind of live through it because it's in first person. So it's I and you, and when I did this, you did that. And the you that Blith is referring to, I can't tell you. You'll figure it out. But it's not a high-stakes thriller like it was said to be when it first came out. It's a very slow, tantalizing literary fiction that has undertones of horror. So there are scary undertones, but I know this is a very polarizing book. And that ending, that last sentence of the ending was just like, what? So the entire time that you follow Blythe through her life, I am thinking that she's crazy, or that Violet is an evil genius, but she's like super evil. Those are pretty much your two options as you read through this. My perspective was that Blythe was crazy and making these situations up in her head. And I thought she was pretty unreliable, which I love in books. I guess not even just thrillers, just in books. I can't say anything else about this book, but I know when I tried to read it the first time, I think it was because it's very slow, it's very mundane. It's just very mundane day-to-day life. And reading it with my eyes was really hard for me because there's no excitement. There's nothing like getting me going. And I did find part of it predictable, but I I also just really enjoyed the ride of reading this. So 5 stars. Surprisingly, I didn't think it would be 5 stars. But once I got the audiobook and I could listen to it along with reading parts of it, or just listen to the majority of it, it helped me to really enjoy this book, because, like I said, it's very like day-to-day boringness, but altogether it comes together so nicely. And you're either gonna think mom is crazy, or you're gonna think that this little baby is evil genius. And I have read some reviews that people are like, oh, well, I love this book because it discusses like my fears of becoming a mother. I don't have any fears about motherhood. Other than like I won't be able to become one, but that's here nor there, you know, it's fine. But this one just, I don't even know what to think. Like, I honestly didn't think I would like this book. And now here it is, 5 stars. What? 5 stars. Okay, so if you've read Bunny and you get those weird acid vibes from Bunny, I mean, this one's just kind of weird too. I would compare them, but I don't know. This is in a whole different league, I guess. But I really enjoyed it. Let's play our next turn, and I can pick my next read so that I can make some dinner and finish cleaning my hamster's cage. Like, I'm so excited to do that. All right, so here's our dog. He's gonna be on pile of shame, and our dice, and come on, big money. All right, 7, not super big money, but helpful, I guess. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Ooh, new. Okay, so when I made this game and I put new on there, it just means a book that is new to me. It doesn't mean that it has to be released this year, but it's just something that is newly acquired for me. I am going to be reading Reconstructing Amelia by Kimberly McCreate. This follows a lawyer named Kate who gets a call from her daughter's school saying, hey, you need to come pick up your daughter. She was caught cheating on this test. And when mom gets there to pick up her kid is dead. It is pretty late on Saturday night. It is almost 11 o'clock at night, which is past my normal bedtime. But you know what? It's Saturday, so let's live it up and read some books. I finished Reconstructing Amelia by Kimberly McCreate, and this one was so good. I don't know what I was expecting, and there were parts of it that were honestly not my favorite. I think that I know I rated this 4 stars, but the conversations in here just make me want to keep this. So usually I only keep 5-star books, like for keeps. This is a 4-star book as of right now, right after finishing it. Sometimes I go back and change my ratings, but right now it's a 4-star book and I really enjoyed this. So you'll follow Kate, who gets called to her daughter's private prep school, Amelia, because Amelia was caught cheating, and she doesn't believe that her daughter cheated because she's very smart, and you know, like everyone thinks that their child is like the best child in the world, but you know, she's a very likable, smart kid, so she's like, oh my gosh, okay, I'm gonna go. So she goes to pick her up because she got suspended, and when she gets to school, the police are there, and they're like, no, you can't go in. She finally like talks her way in, and there was a lot of things that happened that I had to suspend my disbelief for, like the fact that, okay, when she gets there, let me go back. When she gets there, she finds out that Amelia is dead. And everyone is saying that's suicide. And they are doing like suicide awareness and having all these assemblies about suicide. But Kate is like, no, it wasn't suicide. So she helps the cop investigate her own child's potential murder or just her death. Because at the time, you don't know if it's murder or suicide. They kind of thought it was suicide, but mom was so convinced that there's something else going on that she convinced a detective to actually go further with the investigation. And, like, I had to suspend my disbelief a lot because a detective is not just going to be like, oh, you're the mom. Yeah, come with me and investigate this case. And you got the thing that I really liked was, like, there's lots of mixed media. There's, like, text messages and emails and, like, AOL chats, like. And so it had a bunch of different layers to it like that. And then you also get Amelia's perspective leading up to her death and what happened before and why she didn't tell her mom some of the things. And I think one reason that I'm going to be keeping this book, even though it wasn't a 5-star, was the conversations in here were so deeply impactful for me. Like, I'm a teacher for one, so like conversations about bullying and things of that nature really hit me. But also, as an adult that was bullied as a child, it brought up lots of conversations. Like, this Kate and Amelia had a great relationship. Their mother-daughter relationship was wonderful, and it was done really well in this book. But still, when things were happening to Amelia, when she was getting bullied at school and on the internet, she didn't want to burden her mom by telling her about those things, and to think that if she would have, then things might have ended differently for her. And it just really got me thinking, because like I said, I was bullied and I didn't want to burden anyone with mine either. But I mean, it's ancient history now. I just felt very validated. I felt like Amelia, quite frankly, could have been me 20 years ago. 20 years ago? 15 years ago. But I really enjoyed this. I wasn't sure, because I have read another book by this author that I ended up DNFing because I didn't like it. But this one was good. I loved all the different layers. It did at times feel a little bit too like juvenile for me from Amelia's perspective. So I know it's labeled as an adult thriller, but I would say it's more like a young adult thriller. However, I really enjoyed it. So I'm not even mad. Alright, so here is our little doggone new. We're gonna go this way, and here is our dice. 9. Okay, I like it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Ooh. Okay, so that prompt is a secret TBR space. So usually when I would play this game, if I landed on that, I didn't have to tell you what the book was or what the vlog was that I was working on, but because it's this like vlog as we finish this game, I feel like, I think here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pick a book, and I will come back and talk to you about what the book I picked and if I liked it tomorrow. So it's going to be a mystery for all of like 10 seconds for you, but for me, it'll be like all night. Or however long tomorrow it takes me to get through that book. I mean, I think that's the only thing that makes sense here. So, I guess I will catch you tomorrow. I lied. I said I would be back tomorrow, but it's actually 11:45, and I finished the book that I picked for my secret space. So let me tell you about it. I read this is the first Jigsaw Jones mystery that I've ever read. This is The Case of the Mummy Mystery by James Preller. I know that Jigsaw Jones was like a good mystery series. I think this one came out in 1999. I don't know. I think it might have been like early 2000s when this was popular, but I don't know for sure. Honestly, I just got a bunch of class sets of books from a teacher who said she's not going to use them anymore because she got a new job. She got promoted to like team lead, basically, kind of. I don't know. She does a lot of stuff for the school now. But when she left the class, she kind of just let the teachers go and pick what they wanted. I probably would have picked more if I would have had the time, but I just didn't. So I have a whole thing, like all the books on the top shelf of my TBR cart right now are middle grade. And because she was a 4th grade teacher for a long time, I wanted to make sure that all the middle grade books that we're either going to do like a class study on or that I'm going to include in my library. I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to use these books yet, but I wanted to make sure that they were appropriate for 2nd grade. And some teachers are probably like, oh, you know, it's middle grade, it's Jigsaw Jones, it's fine. And yes, this one is perfectly fine. This one's like a Halloween book. And it was cute. It was a real easy read, like 71 pages. But you follow this group of friends. You have, I think Joey. Joey says at the very beginning that he's going to eat a worm. And then, you know, it's around Halloween time, so they're all talking about Halloween and getting ready for Halloween, and they're doing like an elementary party and parade, and it just felt wholesome and very cute. So I definitely approve this for my second graders. And we're gonna take our next turn. I probably won't finish another book unless I get real lucky again and it's like 50 pages. I mean, this one was 73 pages, I think. Yeah, 73 pages. So let's see what our next read is. All right, so our little dog is right here on the secret space. We're gonna go this way, and our dice are right here. So we got a 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Ooh, testing bookish love. Okay, so for testing bookish love, I actually recently made a new specific things in books that I love video. I will put it up here or over here in the cards. But I remember putting revenge on there, and I said something to the effect of, I think I like revenge stories, but I haven't read enough of them to make it an actual thing on this list. So here we are going to be testing, do I like revenge stories every time I read them? So we're going to try Razorblade Tears by S.A. Cosby. This follows these two dads whose sons were in a relationship together, and I believe that they were murdered because of their sexual orientation. And when the two men were alive, the dads didn't approve of their relationship. They didn't approve of them being gay, and it took their death to kind of get the two dads to come together and to forgive themselves for the way they treated their sons, and to, you know, get revenge and deal with grief. And I believe, okay, so it says a black father, a white father, 2 dead sons, a quest for revenge. So I will update you tomorrow. I kept going back and forth between a revenge tale or like a super sweet romance that has an already established couple, because I've already read 2 thrillers today. Well, okay, 1 thriller and 1 literary fiction that was very scary, had creepy vibes. So of course I'm going to read another creepy thriller. So yeah, I will see you guys tomorrow. It's my 30th birthday today as I'm filming this. You won't see this for, I don't know, I usually give myself 2 weeks maximum to edit these, but you won't see these for a couple weeks. Please don't hate me for my thoughts here. I have to put this disclaimer, especially like when I read such a polarizing book and then I have such different opinions as the masses. I am a booktuber. I am a human. We are allowed to have different feelings towards books and still be friends. And I feel like a lot of people are not gonna like this. But like I said, please be nice to me because it's my birthday. And like, we should just be nice to each other anyway. So last night, I landed on Testing Bookish Love. And I had a few different options, but I ended up picking a revenge story called Razor Blade Tears by S.A. Cosby. And this has been on my radar for a little while because everyone seemed to really love it in last year and the year before when it came out. And I didn't love it. I think, I haven't rated it yet, but I think I'm going to give it 2 stars. And I know that just generally this book wasn't for me. I don't think that I am the correct audience for this book. Now, let me start off by saying that this does some things really, really well. The first thing that I found that it does really well is it talks about racism. And like the way that it shows racism is very haunting and like unfortunate. Unfortunate is such a lousy word though. It's like so much more than unfortunate that we still live in that kind of world where there's so much hate and people still judge you because of the color of your skin. That is such, it just puts this burning rage in me. So I get that, and I really did like the talks of LGBT community and things of that nature, and it really did show. So you follow these 2 dads. Their sons were married and have a kid together, and they were brutally murdered. Not the kid, the husbands. And their dads have now made it their mission to seek revenge, to get vengeance for their sons. But for me, like, I understand. Okay, so one was a white man and the other one was a black man, and they fell in love. Like, I understand how some people I don't understand it, but there's still that thing with like being gay is wrong and everything like that. And like, you can see Buddy Lee and Ike struggle with that because you kind of get their revenge for the murders of their sons, but you also flash back to like when they first came out to their dads, how one of them, I think it was Buddy Lee, beat his son Derek for being gay and having feelings towards another man. And I don't know. Like, I don't understand it, but like in the world that we live in, I get what they were doing and I get where he was going with this book. But more than anything, this book just wasn't for me. It was too violent, too gory. It's not really a thriller though. I don't know. I know why it's labeled a thriller, but I don't really think it's a thriller. It's more of like a character study kind of that focuses a lot on grief and growing up and trying to seek vengeance for your son that you never even really like. When he was alive, when they were alive, you didn't really care. You never went to their work. You never saw their house. You never did any of these things because you were just absent because they were gay. And because the white man fell in love with a black man. And like, I get it, but I feel like it relied too much on that, and that there was just for me, it was just missing something. And I can't tell you what it was. Like, it was fine. I just think that it wasn't for me. And, like, this cover matches my outfit, which is cool. But, yeah, I just wanted to love it. I do have to say, though, I liked reading it in my head better than the audiobook, because I did try the audiobook. I made it really, I don't know. I wanted to love this, but sadly for me, I didn't. I know this is a reader didn't match the book kind of thing, but in my head, I had already, like, put it way up here, and then it just fell flat for me. I wish I would have loved this as much as everyone else. Alright, so our dog is right here on love, and it's all the way over here. So let's see. Ooh, okay, that's an 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ooh, okay, part of a series. Okay, so for the prompt that could very well be our last prompt of this game, as we only have 3 spaces left. So I think what I'm going to do is for the last turn, I usually don't, but for my last turn later, I'm going to use 1 die. Usually it's supposed to be 2, but I'll give you guys a fighting chance. So, on Kindle, there is the next book in the Sorority Murder by Allison Brennan book. So, the Sorority Murder is the first in a series. The next one, this is called the Reagan Merritt series. Book 2 is called Don't Open the Door. And I'm pretty sure that this one, the second book in the series, just came out. So Reagan Merritt was like a U.S. Marshal that helped with the sorority murder case. But this is what it says. A family torn apart, a botched investigation. She'll stop at nothing to get answers. U.S. Marshal Reagan Merritt never bought the FBI's theory that her 10-year-old son's murder was tied to her job. Yet, as leads went cold, she's had to walk away from the Marshals, the case, and her now ex-husband, Grant, who blamed her for Chase's death. After Reagan receives a chilling voicemail from her former boss, Tommy, claiming new information about Chase's murder, she can no longer stay away from her pain-filled past, especially when Tommy's murdered before she can return his call. Now more than ever, Reagan's determined to find the truth, but the more she digs, the more evidence points to Grant as the killer's true target. But Grant isn't talking as she tries to pin down her ex. Reagan discovers something much bigger and far more sinister is at play, and she's running out of people she can trust. Okay, and it just came out on January 24th of this year, so it is a new book. Ooh, I'm excited. I'm gonna get started on reading this. to Barnes and Noble for some birthday book shopping. I will get you this book of Harry Styles.
Yeah, you don't need to.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
It's just pictures of him.
Yeah, I'm okay.
Can I hitch your ride with you, kind sir?
Sure. Nobody.
It is still my birthday, and instead of picking my last book, I actually think I picked 2 different books and didn't read either of them. But instead of reading, I went to an escape room, and then I went and had a nice dinner with my husband, and now I'm 30 years old. Phew. That's awesome. I'm kind of disappointed though, because I'm so close to the end and I just didn't make it. Which means that in May, when I play my normal game, the first, I will have 6 rolls, and the first one will be a backward spin. The second one will be a backward spin because I broke my bookbind ban that is not going to exist after May. And then if I don't finish all the books on my TBR for the month of April, I will have to take more turns backwards. So more than likely, we're just going to start the game over in May. Go me. But I'm still trying to figure out, because I'm going to stop the bookbind ban. So instead of earning a book haul when I finish the game, what could I do? Maybe I could give myself a month of mood reading rather than being very structured, because I have to be really structured for my job. And I mean, kids' lives depend on it. Kinda. Sometimes it feels like that. But I have to be very structured and orderly as a teacher. So sometimes I just think it would be really nice to have a little bit of chaos or a little bit of not so much structure. So sadly, we did lose April's round of my TBR trail game for the weekend reading vlog. I still hope you enjoyed it a lot. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to Jellybean's channel, where I am your co-host and I talk about books quite a bit. I will see you in the next video, and maybe June's TBR game will go better than April's did. I'm super sad that it's my birthday, and I told my husband that I was gonna say that we got out of the escape room, but we didn't. We were close,